Good evening, and welcome to Technology Trends, a program about ancient wisdom and new and future technologies. I'm your host, Steve Naj. Our guest this evening is Dr. Patrick Bailey, PhD, nuclear engineering from MIT, interested in complicated mathematics. So we're about to discuss digital currency.
Digital currency, to me, was a very complicated idea when I first heard about it. What does it mean to have money without a physical object like a dollar bill? So I became interested in trying to figure that out, just like I figured nuclear reactors out in school. So I put together a summary presentation of all of the digital currencies that have become popular in the last few years. And I'm particularly interested in this OneCoin idea that we'll discuss in more detail. Have a lot of slides, so without further ado, we can just move on into the slideshow.
Okay, so this is actually similar to Bitcoin, developed in 2009.
Right, Bitcoin came out about five or 6 years ago, and it's been very popular, but it also has a lot of drawbacks. And the idea behind OneCoin was to replace Bitcoin. So we're going to show some short videos from the OneLife company, the OneCoin networks groups, and all of this presentation today is for educational purposes only. And we have a much more detailed information at a website that I put up. You can either search for Padrak OneCoin, or the website name itself is www.padrak.com/OneCoin. So on the next slide, these are the topics we're going to go through. Talk about digital currency, which is really the same thing as cryptocurrency. And they keep track of it all using something called blockchains, which is just a big database. Who owns what? We'll talk about history of Bitcoin, other digital currencies, and then focus on OneCoin, the status of everything, how are the markets doing, what are the dangers involved, and recommendations that I see that might be of interest. Next slide. The evolution of money, pretty simple. We started off with barter, and then somehow they decided gold should be the basis of currency. From that we had coins, and then hard cash into paper money, or fiat currency, like Federal Reserve notes. And then we went to digital credit cards. Credit cards is actually a form of digital currency, as we use them on plastic. And then cryptocurrency would be the same as a credit card, except everything is on a computer or handy on your cell phone. The next slide shows that digital currency coins, you can think of a coin as just being like a serial number. It's computer money, and it's really useful for banks and merchants. The coins are mined. We'll get into that later, using mathematical equations, and they exist only electronically. So Bitcoin has many big problems, and there are over about 400 other digital currencies now being produced and offered on the internet. The largest are, and we will talk about each of these, Bitcoin, OneCoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Steam. Now OneCoin is a private company, and it's been designed to fix and replace the problems with Bitcoin. And OneCoin is going to go public in the January. Next slide. So here is a little short video on what is digital currency. The video came from the OneCoin and OneLife group, but actually the information here applies to all other digital currencies. I use the OneCoin video because I know that it's okay to do that. So we'll go straight into the video on the next slide.
What is cryptocurrency? Between January 2015 and April 2016, the value of the OneCoin cryptocurrency has risen over 11 times. How did OneCoin achieve that? OneCoin is different to other cryptocurrencies. The OneCoin cryptocurrency is based on cryptography that guarantees its security and makes it difficult to counterfeit. OneCoin is created through a process called mining. This ensures that every mined coin is unique, similar to how every dollar bill has a unique serial number. Called digital money or electronic cash, cryptocurrency can be used instead of paper money. Cryptocurrencies make it easier and faster to transfer funds between two parties. The processing fees are low, enabling users to avoid the expensive fees charged by most traditional financial institutions for wire transfers. Cryptocurrencies are not tied to a particular country or central bank. Therefore, their value depends mainly on the number of people and merchants using them, besides supply and demand. OneCoin is not pre-mined, and therefore the users create the market, mine and use the coins. The finite number of coins that can be mined and consequently traded mean that there is no real risk of inflation. OneCoin changes the way we use financial services. OneCoin, join the financial revolution.
Okay, again, these videos were produced for OneCoin, but they are applicable to any other of the cryptocurrencies on the internet today. So now we're going to look at what is the blockchain, which is the database that tracks each of the coins throughout the world.
The OneCoin blockchain maintains a continuously growing list of transaction records hardened against tampering and revision. Guaranteed safety. At OneCoin, we are able to execute your transactions in a minute thanks to the powerful blockchain, a technological innovation that stores cryptocurrencies. The OneCoin blockchain is based that authenticate, validate and store information in consistent, unbroken sequences. This guarantees that the system is safer by reducing fraud, duplicity and forgery. KYC policies. The OneCoin blockchain consists of every transaction ever performed in OneCoin. Anonymous transactions are not allowed, and the company strictly follows anti-money laundering policy, carrying out Know Your Customer policies on different aspects of its activities. Transparent. OneCoin is the first cryptocurrency to store KYC documents on its blockchain. Fast. 1 minute per block. This is how long it takes OneCoin to make a transaction. Future-proof. Tailored for future-proof mass transactions. The OneCoin blockchain can perform more transactions than any global credit card provider. The OneCoin blockchain is the first blockchain audited every month. So far, each blockchain audit report clearly shows that the blockchain of OneCoin is consistent, meaning that there are no coins mined outside the blockchain and that there are no alterations to it. OneCoin transfers your money in a minute. OneCoin, join the financial revolution.
So I do have a question. During 2000, people are worried about a currency collapse, and it was noted that only 10% of our money is actually in currency and coin, 90% being virtual. So how does our Federal Reserve note virtual currency, basically it's numbers in a bank account and on computers? How does the cryptocurrency differ from virtual currency of the government?
Okay. I think the best way to think of it is in terms of a bank account. You have a passbook. Remember, you had entries in your bank book? Mm-hmm. So now you have entries in your screen on your computer or on your cell phone. That becomes your bank book. That is run by the corporation that owns that particular currency, whether it's Bitcoin, OneCoin, or any of the others. And everything is the same, except there's no physical money. And cryptocurrencies, the idea is we're going to print this many coins and then no more. So Bitcoin, we'll see later, 21 million coins. OneCoin decided to have 100 times that, and others have more, and it's like a collector's item. There's only going to be so many. Mm-hmm. And the present situation is that the governments and the Federal Reserve Bank, print as much money as they want with their qualitative easing and bail out people that are in trouble. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Okay.
Let's go back to our presentation and see what's next. Digital currency from this concept is not tied to any particular bank or any country. It's like a collector's item. And the value is determined by supply and demand. So here we get down to a crucial fact that Steve just asked about, is that what makes a currency popular is that if those banks want to use it. So the US banks really like Bitcoin, and the European banks are going for other cryptocurrencies. The next slide. There's a big market in the world for unbanked people. These are people that do not have access to formal banking. and most of them are in Asia, Africa, South America, Mexico. A lot of them are using Western Union, and they would love to use something else, like cryptocurrency. 40% of all the people in the world do not have banking. Next slide. You can transfer money, and these countries have come up with different ways to do electronic transfer to replace money. The next slide. What are these digital currencies? Let's look at them one by one. There's over 400, and they're all financially controlled, otherwise they wouldn't be able to exist. So what do I want to look at? Well, we go to xcoinx.com to see them all, and we'll go to the next slide. This data was discovered in August, about 11 to 15, 2016. Here's xcoinx.com, and on the next slide, we see the top cryptocurrencies, and it's kind of hard to see what that is. The names are on the left, and the available supply is on the far right. So the next slide is a good summary of that. So the different coins going down, we see Bitcoin, OneCoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Steem. OneCoin is a private company. That's why it only shows up here on this particular website. Otherwise, you can't find it. OneCoin is supposed to go public in January. So the cost right now, today, August 15, 2016, the cost right now, you can see, is a huge discrepancy. Bitcoin is about $590 and only 16 million in supply. OneCoin actually today went up to $8.25, and it has an available supply of almost 800 million, whereas Ethereum, $12, Ripple, less than a tenth of a cent, Litecoin about $4, and Steem about $2, and they have smaller amounts of available supply. The next slide shows the history of Bitcoin. Since it came out, it was pretty flat at 1 cent or 10 cents or 5 cents. Then it became popular, shot up, boom, to $1,200, and then we had what normally people would call profit taking. It had a fall all the way down to about $250, a slow rise back up to $750, and recently fell down below $600. And the next slide shows kind of why that is true. Only 21 million will ever be produced. Only 75% of them have been mined so far. It's way down to $5.85 per coin, and you have to mine these yourself. That means you have to use a computer of your own to get a solution. And as more coins are mined, they're harder to get. So it has a very unstable price due to profit taking, and 20% of all Bitcoins produced have either been lost, stolen, or had their accounts hacked.
Yeah, they took a 36% shaving off of all accounts last week.
Yeah, 36% down. Next slide shows Ethereum. Similar pattern. It's gone up to 14, crashed down to below 10, went up to about 15, and has been zigzagging up and down ever since. So we again have this profit-taking profile. The next slide is a summary of Ethereum. It's kind of tied to Bitcoin, so the instability from Bitcoin washed over into Ethereum. And huge profit-taking, 50% down to 7, and then 19 to 9, that's another 50% drop. The next slide shows what happened to Ripple, and here it gets kind of strange because we're talking between a sixth of a cent and a seventh of a cent. So it's pretty much noise level, say less than a penny each, but there's a whole bunch of them that are being offered. And the next slide shows that their pattern has also been variable. The next slide. Very low price, but at market cap, it's ranked number 4. And that OneCoin plans to exceed the number of Ripple coins in existence in October. So OneCoin was supposed to have the largest supply at a higher price. The next slide shows what happened to Litecoin, which came out a lot earlier. It would be kind of like the vanguard of these things. And it peaked around $50 and then has gone back down to, as you can see, below 10, around $5. Next slide shows a summary. It went up to 50 and then went down to 10 within 6 months. And it's got a huge volatility, and now it's hanging in around $3.70. The next slide is what happened to Steem. This will be our last one. And it has the same pattern, very low until people got interested. They invested in it. It went from 0 to 3 and then fell back. On the next slide, we can see that it fell down to $1.15. So with OneCoin, though, the next slide, this is the price that I put together from the data I collected since January of last year. And that looks pretty good, kind of like the early days of Bitcoin. And the next slide shows some of the advantages. Here's what happened to Bitcoin, how it started off easy, then it way up, and then bang, went way down, then up more slow, and now it's going down. The OneCoin, next slide, is showing a steady increase of about 10% every 3 months. And this has been holding for over a year now. Now 10% a quarter is 54% a year. So it's been doing pretty well. The next slide. Again, OneCoin is a private company, and they just put it under a new corporation called OneLife. It was originally backed by Gold Deposit in Dubai. It's supposed to go public next year, January. And the way it works is that it's funded by members, and the members are introduced to this company by sponsors. So the whole idea behind the company was to create a fix, to fix all the problems with Bitcoin, just like Facebook was created to fix all the problems with MySpace. So in my mind, with everything else going on out there, even after Apple, this could be the next big thing. The next slide. OneCoin is designed to be the whole world's cryptocurrency. In October, it's supposed to expand by 57 times, so it'll be 5,700 more than Bitcoin, the largest amount in the world. And it's easy to join. It's all done with your own computer on the internet. They do all the mining and all that stuff. And here's a particular point that really made a big difference to me. They have severe limits on selling. You get involved with this and you get some coins, you just can't dump your position like you can with stocks. You can only sell anywhere from 5 to 40 coins per day, depending on the position that you sign up at. So there's not going to be a lot of dumping of currency. This upward trend is expected to continue for a very long time. The next slide shows the number of members worldwide, and this is over 240 countries, and this is now over 2.2 million people, paid members, and it's been increasing at about 4,000 members per day.
Now, when the price of the coin goes up and you sell it, are you responsible for capital gains?
You should be in this country. The IRS is very concerned about that. And as we'll see, they have this KYC, know your customer, at least in OneCoin. I don't know about Bitcoin and the others. But when you buy something and hold on to it and sell it, the law has already determined that all of these cryptocurrencies should be treated not like income, but capital gains.
That's good.
So much less tax. It's becoming very attractive for people to park their estate funds or investment funds and let it increase for much lower tax over time.
What happens when the EMP comes?
When the electromagnetic pulse comes, and we all look for a new place to get food. Okay, let's continue on.
Go back to barter.
Yeah, back to barter system. Food and water, the most important things. Okay, going back to our slides. This is now going into the Padrak OneCoin website. This is just a screenshot showing you it's very simple, easy to read. And the next slide. Now, we want to talk a little bit about the founder of OneCoin. She's a very interesting lady. It comes from Bulgaria. She's written 2 books on cryptocurrency, and she says in one of her videos that she sat down with 2 friends and developed this company that at the beginning of January 2015 last year, and started this company. She's been voted Businesswoman of the Year twice in Bulgaria. And she's been on the cover of a Forbes magazine where she paid to be on the cover. But she's also been on the recent February 2016 cover of Financial IT, which is a famous bank periodical monthly magazine. The next slide shows just a copy of 2 of her books, one in Bulgarian language, the other I think in it's either Chinese or Japanese. The next slide. What if this is a fraud? Can you have a possible fraud with any of these kind of cryptocurrencies? Absolutely. But they're supposed to be regulated by law. And only OneCoin so far is publicly audited each month, publicly audited for everybody to see. And people have called this particular company a Ponzi scheme or a fraud, but it has been legally investigated in great depth in 4 different countries and legally approved by, and Germany being the most strict, Finland, Vietnam, Sweden, and Thailand. So the way that they have set the company up is legal. Does that mean that OneCoin will be successful in the future? We don't know, but we are watching closely. The next slide shows a screenshot of her speaking English on Finnish television in response to Finland determining that her company was absolutely legal, just like any other stock firm. The next slide is China has a pay card approved by the government that's linked to their OneCoin accounts. So when they make money or sell their coins or get money through working the system, as we'll see later, they can actually spend money using this credit card that comes directly out of their computer account. No banks. Very powerful for China. And the next slide.
No currency manipulation.
No currency, and it's all publicly audited, so there's no way to hide funds. I put in this screenshot because it shows somebody in Europe. The important thing here is he used his credit card, which are now being made available in the USA. They have ATMs for OneCoin in Europe now, and it's growing gangbusters. Okay, so we have more questions from Steve.
So what makes a currency effective is that it's acceptable to everyone that uses it.
Right, acceptable to everyone. Now, gold used to be acceptable to everyone, but why is the price of silver so low when all the banks are screaming and the national mints are screaming for silver? Because it's artificially controlled by futures options.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get to that later on.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back to our slideshow. So here's the video on the opening of the OneCoin offices, and this is really cute. It's a collage for about 3 minutes, and just look at the intensity and the enthusiasm of the people. Let's go ahead to the video.
Today we opened officially the new OneCoin office, and I don't remember who joined me actually when we started up this company, but I remember very, very well. We were 3 people starting up, and then the growth exploded.
So the advantages of OneCoin is that it's international and they do all the mining. You don't have to use your computer for mining. There's no travel, no meetings. You don't have to market anything. And it's proved not to be a scam in all the countries in which they have operation. All this is all done by computer and the internet. I want to stress again, it's been very popular in China because a Chinese citizen cannot invest in stock outside of China, but they can invest in this, and millions of people in China, well, I shouldn't say that, hundreds of thousands of people in China are involved with this particular cryptocurrency. The value has been increasing about 10% every 3 months, which makes it about 54% per year, but past performance is no guarantee of future results, of course. We know that from everything else in the world. There are sponsors and members, and a sponsor signs up 2 members, basically. You purchase an educational package about cryptocurrency, and there are several levels of membership available. Then the member has a login and login user ID and a password, and they get their own dashboard screen, which would be equivalent to their bank book. And this has been working really great since June of last year, when they came out with their system working full time. The next slide shows a history of the conferences they've had. Like I said, it was organized in January last year. They had their big launch event in Dubai in May. Then in June, their computer system was up and working. They've had television programs on China TV in last November. They were on MSN TV in December. They had the grand office opening in Sofia, Bulgaria that you just saw in last April. They had a big conference in London in June, a conference in Malaysia in June, convention in Tokyo in July, and a big major event is planned somewhere in October 1st, I believe, where they're going to announce that for everybody that has coins, they're going to double the number of coins that they have in their account. And that's when they're also going to expand the limit of the coins, upper limit, by a factor of 57. Then in January, they plan to go public. Then on the next slide, wanted to talk about alternate investments. Why should I be interested in cryptocurrency? Why should I be talking to Steve about what we do with our money? Well, I've been looking at stocks. You know, we talked about how I like to consider how things work. And as far as I can tell, people make money on the stock market only when it goes down. And that happens real fast, so I gave up. And bonds travel just as fast as stocks. We've seen how precious metals are controlled by futures. You can put puts and calls in the derivatives market, and I believe that's intentionally suppressing the price of gold and silver.
You can put in naked shorts in the market too.
And using naked shorts, that's right. And if you buy gold and only get a piece of paper saying you have a certificate of deposit, is it real? Is that diluted? Are there counterfeits of that? So paper commodities, paper gold, paper silver, paper wheat, it's all the same. And even paper money, if you've noticed, all the 20s, 50s, and 100s are being replaced by new currency that has the pictures offset to the left from the center. So there's all these alternate things going around. And the things that used to work, well, you used to find companies before they did an initial public offering or an IPO. People used to make a lot of money in real estate. And of course, the easiest thing was just to get married and get into your business that way. But these used to work, so what works today? So then that's why I started looking at this complicated cryptocurrency. So the next slide is, what are we going to do about it? The investment companies are charging percents on investment. T. Rowe Price, Edward Jones,
up to 2%.
Fidelity. Sales, retail sales are dropping. Macy's is closing a whole bunch of stores. Real estate is topping out. And banks are starting to charge negative interest. That means if you have an account at a bank with, say, $10,000 and do nothing, they're going to start charging you 3 or 4% just to have money in their bank. And income tax is in the 30 to 50% tax bracket, but when you make profit on digital coins, it's considered a capital gain, and the taxes are much less. So at this point, Steve, what would you invest in? Does this look good in comparison with what everything else is going on?
Maybe helium futures.
Helium futures, yes. Clean water futures. Good water filters to remove the fluoride and the poisons.
Oh, that's quite an interesting concept. But you have faith in the person developing this, and probably most of, I'll say, investors will say, well, you got to wait for it to go like 5 years or so to make it have a stable base.
Fully agree. When do you feel you can trust somebody to give them money? And for some people, a small amount of money is a lot, and for other people, a large amount of money is a lot. So it just depends on how much money you have to spend. What I would say for people listening is that if you were going to buy gold as a personal asset on the side, I would take that same amount of money and spread it out and buy a bunch of these cryptocurrencies. Do it now while it's early, and things will probably appreciate.
That's good.
Yeah. I had a lot of money in some stocks from working in my retirement plan, and I noticed that I was losing money.
Yeah.
So I took an amount and
2008, yeah.
I spread it out amongst a couple of these cryptocurrencies, and looking at them, I get the most bang for the buck with OneCoin, and it's still going up. So I'm very happy with that, and that's why I wanted to make this video and share this with the community. Other people might be interested. It's only spread by word of mouth. There's no advertising.
So are each of these currencies readily convertible into, I'll say, the government currencies of other countries?
I think so. OneCoin just had a program where they now accept Bitcoin to turn it in to OneCoin. In fact, there's 4 professors at a big name school that were teaching classes in cryptocurrency, and they had made quite a lot of money in Bitcoin. And when they saw a presentation like this, they sold a lot of their Bitcoin and turned it into OneCoin so they would get in early, as this looks pretty good right now.
So could I buy a barrel of crude oil
and
avoid the New York banks?
And avoid the New York banks. Well, I think as far as taxation in the IRS, you will always be under scrutiny because it's a public blockchain. They will track you. So just take the attitude of being honest, do the right thing, get the maximum amount of profits you can, and pay the minimum tax. That's the American way, right?
Well, I'm just curious if a country decides to go to OneCoin or Bitcoin to buy their commodities, because oil is denominated in US dollars. So every time you buy oil, it has to be circulated through the New York banks and go through a currency exchange.
That's true.
Which is a percentage. Now this apparently avoids currency exchange.
You would have a much less percentage by having to go through a bank. And I think that the system will be set up. I have faith in the company because it's become so large and so global that whatever problems they encounter, they will fix it. That's my attitude, personal attitude.
Okay.
That's why I'm excited. So let's get back to our video, our slideshow, and see what's next on the agenda. Trying to cover a lot of slides very quickly. OneCoin membership is increasing around the world. Paid membership, people sign up, they have to pay a fee to get involved, very small fee. 4,000 members per day. And I did a mathematical analysis of the numbers I've been keeping track of every day. And on the next page, the next slide, it shows how that number has been changing. There was a huge increase there earlier in early March. But on the average, 4,000 people a day are joining this company, so something's going on internationally. I have the numbers at home. And the next slide shows how this works. They're not advertising on the TV or radio. Everybody's by word of mouth. A friend of mine came up to me and said, hey, you ought to look at this. So I looked at it. I didn't like it. The first time, it was too complicated, didn't understand it. But finally I figured it out.
Looks like a pyramid scheme.
It looks, yeah, absolutely. But it's the same as anything else. Potato chips, hot dogs, you recommend it to your friends and then they go buy it. So a sponsor can enroll 2 members and a person can enroll as many times as they want in this pyramid or tree as it called it. Yeah. And you don't have to market anything. You're not selling anything. This isn't like the old multi-level marketing schemes. There's no inventory, no products. It can just be an investment, but it's spread and people are organized in this binary tree pattern. The next slide shows how this downline works. And I was wondering, hey, if we've got 2.2 million people involved today worldwide, how many levels in a binary system would that be? And it turns out when you do the math, it's only 21. That means from the topmost person, which is probably the president of the company, there's only 21 levels. So there's a lot of room to expand, and the company has a 5-year plan through 2021. Okay.
So you can, at the end of 21 sections, then you've covered the entire population of the Earth?
Yeah, I don't know how far they're going to go. But it's very popular. And the main point here is what's underlined. There's only 10 to 20,000 members in the United States. This is like the beginning of any big thing. Just pick what you want. Xerox, Amway, Apple, Facebook. Less than a small town in America knows about this. So we're getting the word out. And the more people that play, then the more people would help make it real and succeed. The next slide show how it works. Okay, everybody has a sponsor. Now this is the tricky part, and this is where I got confused at work. When you enroll, you make a payment and you receive a gift code. And the gift code, you can make it to your sponsor, the company, or somebody you trust upline. And the sponsor creates your position in that tree. You choose an ID, user ID and password. You get your account dashboard, your bank book that you're on your computer. You get that by email. You put in, or your sponsor puts in, that gift code, and it sets up your screen. You're all set up at home. And the sponsors are there to help you and assist you. And sometimes I still ask questions to the people above me to get everything straight. The next slide is that how this really works. You purchase an educational package, and along with the packages are called, say, a starter. And you get your gift code, you get your dashboard account, and when your account comes up, depending on your package, you get tokens. The number of tokens changes with the account. The more money you put in, the more tokens you get. And your tokens can split. Every 3 months or so, the tokens double. The starter account can split once. Tycoon account can split twice. And then after your tokens have doubled, anywhere from a factor of 2 to a factor of 4, and that happens about every 3 months, then you take all your tokens and on your website, you put them into mining. Real easy to do. They do the mining.
Is that like investing?
This is where they come up with the coins. And the number of coins you get depends on this thing called the difficulty. And you take the tokens divided by difficulty, you get the number of coins. The value of the coins is increasing at about 10% per quarter, and the difficulty is also increasing at about 10% a quarter, because as more mining is done, it's supposed to be more difficult. This allows people coming in later to have a little bit more difficulty than the people that came earlier. So as more coins are mined, the difficulty goes up. But everything is still very low. Right now the difficulty just went up to 70, and the value of the coins went up to $8.26. The dashboard, of course, is all in euros. So you get to learn to convert from dollars to euros back and forth. And on the next slide, we see that if you want to transfer small amounts or large amounts of money to your friend or your sponsor, there's ways to do it with bank transfers. two shown there in the USA, and also a lot in other countries. So we really want to get to the next slide, which is very interesting. This is a picture of a full dashboard. So this is equivalent to the bank book. If you look in the upper right-hand area by that circle, you can see this is a starter position for my friend Meredy. And she came in with 1,000 tokens, and they split once, and she put 2,000 of tokens into mining. So as she gets cash into her account, it would show up on the far left in the cash drawer, and she can keep track of how many OneCoins she has there in the upper left drawer. And over on the left-hand side, there's all these attributes to the account.
What is OneCoin?
Where is all the money?
Millions of
so if I took my mouse and went over to accounts and then tokens, we would get the next slide,
that changes the
which shows how many tokens she currently has in her account.
So do I have to be nerdy?
You have to be married? No.
Nerdy, yeah.
She chose her user ID to be Meredy. The next slide shows I clipped a screenshot of the account. She started at 1,000 tokens. I believe that says 1,000. Then there was a split, went to 2,000s, and then that was inserted into mining. And so her coins are as mining. And when these are sold at the old price, $742, but now it's $826, it would return $286 on that small starter package. So the next slide shows 3 ways to participate in OneCoin. And what I did is I just wanted to invest some money, the same amount that I would put into gold this year, and just say, give it a shot, see what happens. And as I did that, I got more and more interested in how does all this work, and what does this mean, and what's this difficulty in tokens and all of that. You don't have to do any marketing. You don't have to talk to people. You can just sit at home and hopefully watch the value of your coins grow over time at about, hopefully, 10% a quarter or better. Or you can share with your friends like I'm sharing with you and the people in the studio, and you can get some rewards for signing other people up. Small amount of cash and tokens. That's how the word spreads. That's how they figured this out for this to go multinational, and it works really well in Asian countries because they love to take advantage of these kinds of efforts. And then also there are active marketing groups, like a partnership group, where you can get more cash and tokens, support for questions, and they have newsletters and videos. So I should say at this point that this entire presentation, the PowerPoint presentation and the videos, will be on my website after we finish production of the video to make this available, because I've gone very quickly over a lot of these items in the interest of time. So we want to close with the next slide as far as this presentation. The OneCoin global payment solution on this, no, we have, I'm sorry, we have 3 videos left. Great. This is the idea of a global payment solution to go places where banks don't exist, and to also take advantage of the banks that do exist and the ATMs that will be carrying Bitcoin, OneCoin, and perhaps some of these other cryptocurrencies. So the next video, please.
One coin, one world. The first cryptocurrency that is easy to mine, easy to trade, and easy to use. No complicated hardware or in-depth knowledge necessary to start. OneCoin provides quick, low-cost, borderless transactions, accessible financial services to everyone, wherever you are, whoever you are. OneCoin will empower billions of people by providing borderless, low-cost financial transactions and by connecting them to the financial world. Plugging the unbanked back into the financial network. Independent of governments, we provide access to financial services made available for everyone, providing education, simplifying and demystifying cryptocurrency. With a strong leadership and a clear strategy, OneCoin developed a loyal and global customer base of more than 1.9 million people in 241 countries and 6 continents. OneCoin, one world. Join the financial revolution.
Okay, this next video is going to be kind of a good summary overall picture. What is OneCoin? Just 2-minute video.
What is OneCoin? Millions of people around the world are mining OneCoin today. The reason? It's a platform for innovation that changes the financial industry. Put simply, it gives instant access to easier, faster and low-cost financial services. You do not need to go to your traditional financial institution or escrow agent to send money to your loved ones. Fast. We make transactions every minute, hence you are able to send money from any part of the world to another in a minute. Easy. Everyone can transfer money with OneCoin. You only need your phone to do so. Safe. And most importantly, mining the coin, transferring money and making payments with OneCoin is absolutely safe. When joining OneCoin, we automatically create an e-wallet for you. Because of our centralized model, we take care of all technical aspects, ensuring that your mined coins are safe. What's more, to prevent money laundering, identity theft, financial fraud, and terrorist financing, OneCoin has implemented KYC, Know Your Customer procedures, thus preventing any possible misconduct by its clients. OneCoin also became the first cryptocurrency with a monthly audit of its blockchain. People join OneCoin for a reason: to learn about cryptocurrency, to mine the coin, to transfer money, to make payments without the need for expensive or unsafe intermediaries, to deposit money, and to save over 80% in remittance costs. Use OneCoin to save your time and money every time you need financial services. Inspired by Dr. Ruja Ignatova's strong vision to provide access to financial services for everyone, regardless of income, social status and ethnicity, OneCoin has become a global company with a community of thousands of miners worldwide in just over a year. One world, one coin. Join the financial revolution.
Now, all of this came under the title of the company OneCoin. But recently they've branched out. They want to have the OneCoin company be separate, so they created like an umbrella company that they've called OneLife, which contains OneCoin. And we have this last video that I wanted to show, just about 2-minute video explaining what OneLife is. Okay. So let's go into that right now. Is the title of the video, the OneLife Exclusive Club. And let's play the video.
Because we keep our promises and honor our commitments. With an inspiring and strong management team committed to continuous growth and constant improvement. We grow a global network, present in more than 240 countries on 6 continents. We don't simply build sustainable long-term relationships, we build leaders. We offer sales support materials to let you unleash your full potential. We also have a bonus system giving you the potential to earn money at every level. As one of the fastest developing companies in the industry of direct sales and cryptocurrency, we place tremendous value on personal development and education. We empower and educate, making cryptocurrency an understandable concept. This is the natural evolution of money, providing equal access to quick and borderless payments to every global citizen. Committed to OneCoin's success, we take the next step to make it the #1 cryptocurrency in the world. We grow, building a new, bigger, better home. a place of limitless opportunities where we can lead change together. One Life, together for more.
Okay, and here's our final slide, summary points. I should say that OneLife has already put a laptop on the market, which is all rose gold to match your iPhone. So summary points, OneLife and OneCoin, it's new, it's international, it's a private mining company. They do the mining for you. It's going public in January. This would be a good time to look at it. It's easy to join. You do everything from your computer. You trust your sponsor. No marketing is required, but if you want to, it's allowed. And a lot of people are making significant amounts of money. It's already surpassed Amway in growth and sales. There's nothing else to buy or sell, and it's a possible investment worth looking at. And then the last slide here, once again, has my website, padrack.com, personal assistance and development through research and acquired knowledge, Padrack, which is Gaelic for Patrick, Padrack OneCoin, www.padrack.com/OneCoin, and this presentation and the videos will be on that website very soon. Thank you for letting me explain it to you, Steve.
Well, that's quite interesting. Now, can I actually spend a fractional coin, say I want to buy a tube of toothpaste?
Can you spend a fractional coin? The way it would work, let's say the coin goes up to $10. You want to spend money out of your account, so you'd have to sell that coin to somebody else, and money would go into your account as euros, and then you would spend that money as cash. Now, the one good question that you brought up, how much is the transfer fee from euros to dollars? If you go through a bank, if I go to a bank and say I want 100 euros, it costs me 19% interest. It's $119 going through a bank. But going through OneCoin as it gets more popular in the future, maybe they'll really significantly drop the conversion rate.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what surprises me, though, it's popular throughout Asia, but you need a computer to access your coins.
Yes, and I love to do a desktop because I grew up in a scientific field, many years at Los Alamos and other places. But a lot of people just use their cell phone. True. Everything is right there, or your tablet, so you can see the information. And it was really shocking for me to see somebody in Europe walk up to a OneCoin ATM, put in his card, linked to his account. The computers recognized it, shook hands, and gave him money out of the ATM for his OneCoin.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't have to search for a bank.
Well, you'd have to search for the ATM.
For the ATM.
But I believe it's, I won't say the name of the credit card because I'm not quite sure, but there are cards now that you can get that will link to your dashboard account. And as you build up money or sell OneCoins in the future, why would you want to sell them? A starter account, you can only sell 5 per day. And if everybody else holds onto their coins and it just continues to grow, eventually they'll find their own value as everything else does. But there won't be puts and calls and doing futures operations. So it'll find its own level. Even if it drops 50%, by the time it does, you will still have made a profit.
That's interesting. Well, thank you for being with us. And for further information, you will contact Dr. Patrick G. Bailey at www.padrack.com/OneCoin/. And if you like programs of this type, you may contact us here at Technology Trends, P.O. Box 487, Mountain View, California, 94042. Keep those cards and letters coming. This is Steve Naj signing off for Technology Trends.